coming up tonight on VCU InSight. Virginia school teachers will be taking classes themselves this summer to learn about school desegregation.
And no ifs, ands, or buts. VCU calls it quits for smokers and tobacco products on campus.
I'm Morgan Masinka, and I'm here to tell you how this new local driving range is changing the game of golf.
All that and more.
VCU InSight starts right now.
From the Richard T. Robertson School of Media and Culture at Virginia Commonwealth University, named Best Student Newscast in the Mid-Atlantic, this is VCU InSight.
Good evening and welcome to VCU InSight. I'm Jason DeVesser.
And I'm Naya Coles. Thanks for joining us. It's been 2 months since VCU banned smoking and tobacco-related products on both of their campuses. Lately, it's been a trend with universities nationwide. InSight's Jerron Nutter is in our Richmond newsroom with more. Good evening, Jerron.
Good evening, Naya. The ban took effect over the summer. VCU says it's a commitment to create a healthy campus. On July 1st, Virginia Commonwealth University banned smoke and tobacco-related products on campus. This comes when the Trump administration is moving to ban flavored e-cigarettes in the United States.
But we can't allow people to get sick, and we can't have our youth be so affected.
According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, over 2,000 college campuses have smoke-free policies. VCU senior Tyrus Ford finds the ban inconvenient because she vapes to relieve stress.
I vape for my anxiety and to help my mental health, so this ban is really limiting my ability to calm myself down.
Behind the Well, short for VCU's Wellness Resource Center, is one of the few designated smoking areas on VCU campus. In a press release just before the ban took effect, VCU Assistant Vice President for Safety and Risk Management, Thomas Briggs, said VCU is committed to eliminating known health hazards and promoting healthy habits among students, patients, faculty, and staff. VCU's decision to enforce the policy is due to efforts for a healthier campus and respect for the environment. Dripley Vapes employee Scott Waters says the campus ban won't affect their business.
No, I don't think it'll hurt business at all. I mean, I don't really see much business with VCU.
VCU says any students, faculty, or staff caught smoking on campus may face disciplinary action.
InSight's Jerron Nutter reporting from our Richmond newsroom. Thanks, Jerron.
Now, one thing VCU isn't banning on their campus, construction. It's all part of the university's master campus plan, called One VCU, approved earlier this year. Construction started this summer at 2 campus intersections, Franklin and Schaefer, and Main and Linden. They're reducing the number of lanes and extending the curb so it's easier for pedestrians. University planner Jeff Eastman told VCU InSight that this was, quote, the first tangible work on the master plan. That plan includes small plazas near those intersections. Now, VCU says finishing all of the master plan projects will take 10 to 15 years.
They're raising a glass to another record-breaking year at Virginia ABC. The state's Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority says their last fiscal year was their best, bringing in more than $1 billion in revenue. That's about $78 million more than the previous year. ABC officials says the success comes from opening 7 new stores last year and their seasonal promotions. 12 stores were either remodeled or relocated. By state statute, Virginia ABC must return their earnings back to the Commonwealth. Last year's beverage boom put that number at almost $500 million.
This summer, history teachers from across the country will be trading a week of their vacation to come to VCU. They'll be learning about a part of history some say has been overlooked in our schools. InSight's Christina Burgess has more.
It's a topic VCU Associate History Professor Dr. Brian Dougherty knows well. And by the end of the week, it's something he's hoping his 72 guests know more about.
Principal goal in the workshops is making sure that the teachers are as familiar as possible with the content knowledge of school desegregation.
It's a sensitive subject and one that Dougherty says isn't just history.
I also want teachers to be aware of how the process of school desegregation still affects us in 2019.
Dougherty recently won a $170,000 grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. He's one of only 16 researchers to get this funding from the NEH this year. Masia Israel is a K-12 history educational specialist for Richmond Public Schools. He says these history workshops are beneficial to remind us of how far we've come.
Many times our students forget about the fact that many of them would not be sitting in the same desks and the same chairs as some of their counterparts just 50, 60 years ago.
Sessions will be held across various places on campus, some in classrooms just like this one.
Virginia's role in school desegregation, it's crucial, is that the teachers will get this content knowledge as part of the workshops, and then that will help them to better teach school desegregation and civil rights history in their own schools.
A history many are working to make sure doesn't get forgotten. For VCU InSight, I'm Christina Burgess.
Now, those workshops will be here at VCU July 12th through the 17th, and the second session will be July 26th through the 31st.
Earlier this month, Richmond City Hall unveiled the displays of, quote, Growing Up in Civil Rights Richmond, A Community Remembers art exhibition. InSight De'Ara Robertson has more on the story.
As soon as you step foot into Richmond City Hall, someone is bound to catch your eye.
And that element of surprise really creates a sense of curiosity that compels people to look closely at the portraits.
Those 25 portraits feature Richmond natives who grew up during one of the most difficult times in our country. Growing Up in Civil Rights Richmond, A Community Remembers, retells this moment in history from their childhoods.
Whether you're walking in through the Marshall Street entrance or coming up the stairs from the ground level, you will always see their faces.
It was created by University of Richmond American History professor Laura Browder with the help of Ashley Kistler from the city's Public Arts Commission.
Well, everyone was very enthusiastic.
Photographer Brian Palmer even chose 3 portraits to hang in the mayor's office. Matthew Stanley recently visited City Hall and says he was inspired.
I'm somebody who loves details and loves to really learn somebody's full story, and so they really kind of inspire me to go and learn more about the people in our communities.
This exhibit is a part of many public arts programs associated with the Public Art Master Plan for Richmond. For VCU InSight, I'm De'Ara Robertson.
The Civil Rights Exhibition will remain at City Hall until November 22nd.
They say it started from a table and a rolling cart. Now with the huge facility in Chesterfield, this ministry-based charity is giving to those in need. InSight's Morgan Masenko recently sat down with the founder.
I'm in the studio with founder and executive director for Mercy Mall, Stacy Jones. Stacy, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you, Morgan.
So on your website, you describe Mercy Mall as a free clothing and housewares boutique for those in need. What kind of items do you typically accept?
So we take all clothing, shoes, baby equipment, housewares. We do get occasionally like medical equipment, but that's rare. But those are our basic needs that people have.
Awesome. So how did you become so involved in this organization?
So Mercy Mall started in Arkansas, and that's where our family resided at the time. And our pastor, Shannon Odell, he had a vision of helping the community because people kept coming into the church and asking for things that they needed, but also his kids were coming home with their toes of their shoes cut out. And he was hearing all of this and saying, why not have a free boutique? And so when our family moved here, we just said goodbye to Mercy Mall and we went about our lives, but God had other plans for us, and he started showing me that there were actually needs in the area. And so long story short, Mercy Mall was birthed here in a storage unit off of Hull Street. So we feel very privileged that we get to be a part of it.
That is so awesome. So your mission is to serve the hungry, the homeless, and hurting by filling practical needs, providing resources, and building relationships. Can you tell me a little bit for what that stands for in your organization?
So we are actually revisiting our mission right now to make it more narrow, because we didn't know where we were headed at the time, but really we know that our wheelhouse is just meeting people in crisis with the things that they truly need. And when they get their families in the door, they come to us with this downtrodden, they're in the toughest time they've ever been in their lives, and then we like to meet them where they are and love on them, and just, you know, provide like a hospitality center right there in the boutique, and walk them through the boutique and help them shop for the things that they need. So that's the building relationships. But we also want to kind of listen to the needs of the community and see what else is out there. So we're actually looking into other options to get needs out into the community more.
Awesome. So what kind of organizations do you partner with in the area?
So we partner with lots of churches, well, actually a few churches, but more other ministries like the Pregnancy Help Center of Chesterfield County, Guardians, Mobile Missions, Love of Life Fellowship is another part of them. They go out into the homeless and meet the homeless. And I'm trying to think. We have quite a few kind of on the peripheral of what we do that we reach out to for resources, but a lot of case managers and counseling companies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I noticed you're gearing up for Adopt a Family that's starting in October. Can you tell me a little bit about more of that?
Yeah, so Adopt a Family is one of our 5 programs, and we combine sponsorship groups from the community with families in crisis that have either come out of homelessness or in other situations, domestic violence, anything like that they are dealing with, bed bug infestations, which is very severe in our area. And we like to meet their practical needs. And so it could look like a delivery situation, or it could be a pickup situation in the boutique, but they will, if their Christmas needs are not met, then we also help them with that, because a lot of them come in after those deadlines are, like Christmas Mother is done and Toys for Tots is done. We come in at the last minute and help those families that could not apply.
Awesome so much.
Yeah.
So what is your goal for the Richmond community?
Oh my goodness, we just had our strategic planning meeting on Monday night, and we are developing those goals, but we definitely want to meet that need in our wheelhouse of being the biggest provider of clothing and housewares for those in need.
Awesome. Well, I've been speaking with Stacey Jones, the founder and executive director of Mercy Mall. Thanks so much, Stacey.
Thank you, Morgan.
A new driving range is partnering with many golf courses in the area to keep the sport in action. VCU InSight's Morgan Masinka has more.
3 levels and 65,000 square feet. That describes a new golf facility in Goochland. It's Drive Shack's first in the Richmond area after locations in North Carolina and Florida. Drive Shack General Manager Michael Madley says it's good for the game.
Like I said, Drive Shack's a great way to bring lots more people into the game of golf, and that's only going to help support the green grass golf courses.
Madley says the popularity of what's called off-course golfing will help the industry and support the golf community year-round.
We expect a huge impact into the golf industry.
According to the National Golf Foundation, the number of players at off-course golf facilities like Drive Shack is almost twice as many as 4 years ago, at more than 9 million players. Mark DeSisto is the pro at Magnolia Green Golf Club. He says places like Drive Shack are important for the future of golf.
I think it'll be good to get beginner golfers out there in a relaxed atmosphere that they can try and thrive and start to learn and enjoy the game.
While industry groups say the number of those playing the game may be up, last year 200 golf courses around the country closed. For golf professionals like DeSisto, the million-dollar question is, will places like Drive Shack result in new golfers?
If it turns somebody new on to golf and a year later they're actually on the golf course, and instead of just sitting at home watching it on TV, then we've answered that million-dollar question.
An answer that, for the golf industry, would be a hole-in-one. For VCU InSight, I'm Morgan Masinka.
The Professional Golf Association representatives have also commented on the change in the golf over recent years, and now they say it's a game for all. Earlier this month, the Richmond City Council voted in support of a resolution that would ban conversion therapy in the city. It's the first of the kind in its Commonwealth. Conversion therapy tries to change a personal sexual orientation or gender identity. It's opposed by groups such as the American Medical Association and the American Psychiatric Association. In recent years, the Virginia General Assembly has killed any bill that would ban the treatment. Richmond Mayor LeVar Stoney tweeted his thanks for the support from City Council on the resolution. The Human Rights Campaign group says 17 states and the District of Columbia currently protect children under 18 from conversion therapy. This fall, VCU is launching 5 new undergraduate degrees in the School of Education. It leads to being a licensed teacher in the state of Virginia. It's all an effort to address what the Commonwealth has called for a teacher's shortage. Programs focus on early childhood ed as well as elementary, secondary, health, and special education. VCU joined 6 other Virginia universities with new undergraduate education programs. In recent years, enrollment has been down across the state in graduate programs for new teachers.
Whether in grade school or college, everyone is now back in school, and that means the online scammers are back to work. InSight's Shravan Gunavarpu has our story.
Like a lot of college students, VCU senior Luke Porter spends a lot of time online. He says he can see why students would make an easy target for online scammers.
I think students nowadays are just very on the go. Like a lot of students are just looking for a quick deal, looking for an easy way to buy stuff.
It may be surprising to hear, but in 2018, almost 3 times as many young adults, ages 20 to 29, reported losing money to scammers than victims above the age of 70, according to the Federal Trade Commission. VCU cybersecurity professor Dr. Irfan Ahmed says it's all about targeting the end users and that students are online a lot.
They use computers more often than the older crowd or the previous generation. So maybe they have more access to the internet and they spend more time on online.
This year in Virginia alone, more than 16,000 people reported to the FTC about losing money in a scam, totaling more than $14 million. Ahmed says when it comes to computer scams, just use some common sense.
Ideally, you should try to find the legitimacy of these kind of offers. I mean, why would someone just giving you a big amount for nothing?
Porter says teamwork helps too.
I think just taking the time to encourage our friends to look out for one another and make sure we read.
Doing something the scammers hope you don't. For VCU InSight, I'm Shravan Gunavarpu.
And if you fall victim to an online scam, let the Federal Trade Commission know by reporting to their complaint assistant on their website.
A local Richmond restaurant says it's shutting its doors next month. After 20 years in business, Baja Beam Company says it's closing its West Main Street location in the Fan District. The location's managing partner, Jeff Allums, told the Richmond Times-Dispatch he just can't compete with the number of restaurants now in the area. Baja Beam started in Williamsburg in 1987. A Charlottesville location closed in 2017. The Stanton location will remain open. The last call for Baja at the Richmond location will be October 31st.
And with one restaurant closing, another one opens its doors. Rusty Taco is now in Westchester Commons in Chesterfield County. They say they make what they call street tacos in more than a dozen different ways. The chain started in Dallas in 2010 and now has more than 30 locations in 8 states. Rusty Taco is owned by the same company that owns Arby's, Sonic's, and Buffalo Wild Wings. The local owners of the Chesterfield store told the Richmond Times-Dispatch earlier this year they plan on opening 2 more stores in the Richmond area next year.
From elaborate designs to simple sweet treats, this local Richmond baker takes the cake. InSight's Alyssa Bernier sat down with the woman behind the apron.
I'm here today with the owner of Jase Cakes, Jennifer Engel. Jennifer, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So I just want to say that I have seen some of your artwork on your Facebook page, and my favorite has got to be that Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich.
Actually, that's one of my favorites as well.
So I was talking to you backstage, and you actually said that you are kind of self-taught, but not really.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So I grew up in a family that owned a bakery in Buffalo, so they knew the behind the scenes and all the tips and tricks to teach me along the way. So as a kid, seeing that, it was just so inspiring, and I wanted to actually make that a living. So just kind of grew from there.
And how did you learn to work with it's fondant, right?
Fondant, yes. Yeah. There's actually a bunch of different kinds of, things to play with cakes. Fondant is one of the more popular ones, molding chocolate as well. But for training for that is really just a hands-on thing. I minored in clay as my medium for art in college, and just playing with YouTube videos or, Pinterest, or just seeing things and just really getting my hands on, but practice really played a big part into getting to where I am now.
So right now you just bake the cakes out of your kitchen. Are you thinking of expanding?
Yes, not too large, definitely more accommodating for a larger scale of customers, because right now I'm doing about 40, maybe 50 cakes a week, and that's including something that just released for Cake Day. So each week I'll have a different flavor, and sometimes I'll poll, my customers and see what they want to do, and then once a week we'll have about 20 cakes, people that are coming by, and I'd like to have a space where, I could do maybe classes and stuff like that too, So
you mentioned Cake Day, and that's on Thursdays.
That is on Thursdays.
So could you explain what that is, how it works? Because it sounds really yummy.
It's so fun. So like I said, I sometimes will pull out and ask, what flavors would you guys like to have this week? Because I like to cater to, what everyone wants. And, I'll pick, the most popular flavors suggested. And on Sundays, I'll open up on 8 a.m. and we'll have pre-orders. And it goes quickly. It used to be called Quick Cakes because it was going just so quickly, but they'll pull out, and then it closes on Tuesday and Thursday. Everybody comes and picks their cake up. It's really fantastic too, because I can't accept any orders after a certain point, so these are that few that'll trickle in, and they'll get like a happy birthday cake and stuff like that, but it's not quite as customized, but it's never frozen, super fresh, and a fun flavor, so it's great.
So you own the business, you make all the cakes, and you're a mom to 3 young kids.
Yes.
And you're booked up until January.
I am.
How do you do it all? How do you manage all of that?
Coffee. Really, I am a very organized person, and it started out small. It started out very, very small. So I've learned, ways to stay organized, ways to stay on top, and just be able to manage all of these things. And then, of course, the kids have just started school this year. All of them are in school now, so it's easier for me to work during the day.
So just real quick, can you tell our viewers how they can get in contact with you to order a cake with you?
Absolutely. You can go on the Facebook page. It's Jase Cakes, Jaes Cakes. There's also my website, which we just released, is jasecakes.com, JAEScakes.com. I'm also on Instagram. It's Jase Cakes with an extra S. And then, there's email as well. It's orders@jasecakes.com.
Well, we're here with Jennifer Engel from Jase Cakes. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
A local annual festival in mid-September changed the where and the when, but not the what, which are veggies. Organizers for the Richmond VegFest say that after holding the festival for 16 years at Bryant Park, earlier this month they moved the event to Bird Park. The festival was also typically held in June, but organizers say they hope a fall date would be a little more comfortable. That day, the National Weather Service said the high temperature was 85 degrees. About 35 vendors served up vegan and vegetarian dishes, along with live music and cooking demonstrations. Organizers say one of the festival's missions is to get to non-vegans to consider more of a plant-based diet.
The Richmond area already tops several lists for being tattoo-friendly. Recently, tens of thousands of fans got to show their excitement. In mid-September, the Richmond Tattoo Art and Music Festival was at the Doubletree Hilton in Midlothian, back where it started 27 years ago. Like the name says, there were tons of tattoos with more than 150 artists, along with entertainment and competitions. Organizers had a special tattoo academy the day before the festival, just for professional tattoo artists. The weekend wrapped up with an auction of unique art pieces, with the proceeds going to a foundation that supports environmental conservation. And finally tonight, the VCU Office of Sustainability opened a free store on campus. It's a resource center that promotes access to everyday living needs. I recently spoke with the VCU Office of Sustainability on just why this store is here. Sustainability Outreach Coordinator Parker Long got the surprise of her life as the VCU Free Store opened its doors August 19th.
The first day we had a line out the door, which was a little unexpected, but was great. We were really happy to see it was so well received.
Parker estimates they saw about 800 people that first week. Located at the intersection of West Grace and North Belvedere, the Free Store is exactly that, a thrift shop for VCU students like Joseph Wynn here.
I think it's a good method to help college students, considering we're all on like tight budgets.
Helping students score free stuff wasn't the only goal, says VCU. Finding someone who wants that keeps it out of a landfill. Everything's been donated, mostly by students. And just like many discount stores, you're never quite sure what's there.
Sort of the issue right now is we don't have an online searchable inventory.
Now, students here at the VCU Free Store typically shop for items like school supplies, kitchen utensils, storage boxes, and basic tech stuff.
Just being able to find a home for stuff I don't use anymore that could potentially still have a use for other students.
Naya, the store is only open a few hours a week right now, but organizers have hopes of hiring a full-time manager and moving to a larger space in the future.
And that does it for this edition of VCU InSight.
You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under VCU InSight. Let us know about any stories you'd like to see on our show.
And if you missed our show or would like to watch it again, you can find us on YouTube at VCU InSight. Thanks for watching. I'm Naya Coles.
And I'm Jason DeVesser. We'll see you next time.